obviously want to congratulate Coach Muss and the basketball team for their win yesterday over Colgate, and I want to thank the fans. I don't know, we must have had 2,000 or 3,000 people come out to the scrimmage today, and I know it means a lot to our players and means a lot to our coaching staff, and we want to thank them. I think we saw enough good on both sides of the ball to be encouraged, and I think we saw enough things that certainly that we need to improve on and work on. And but I was proud of the organization of the scrimmage, the way our kids competed, and as of right now, I think we came out fairly injury free from today's practice. So I was proud of the way the kids competed. Obviously, we had things to work on, but we did see some positive things as well.
Trey, you want to get started?
Coach, curious what you thought of your quarterbacks the day that KJ, Malik, all those guys had.
Yeah, we honestly, Trey, we missed too many balls. We had some of the same things happening in practice. We're holding the ball too long. There's a fine line in there, and just putting the quarterback live and teaching him how to get rid of the football, and then not. But we're holding the ball too long, which means one of two things: we're either not getting open, or we're not understanding the defensive coverage, or and then we just missed too many open receivers at the quarterback spot. So none of them, if you look at it, Trey, none of those guys have had much game experience. And to be honest with you, that's why I wanted to scrimmage 3 times this spring. I want to scrimmage this one, and then in 2 weeks, and then the spring game, because we're inexperienced at that position. I thought they did a good job of running the offense, but obviously there were some guys open out there that I wish that they would have thrown and caught the ball a little bit better.
I wanted to ask you about a specific player, Raheem Sanders. I don't know if that's an experiment or anything at running back, or if he's permanent there, but he had some good runs today. What have you thought about what he's done so far?
Trey's a wonderful kid. He's a hard worker and very, meticulous about what he does and the way he handles his business. Thought he played well today. Trey, we moved him to running back day one when he came in. I don't know that was necessarily the thought when we recruited him, but we need a big back, and he's a couple 100 pounds, a little bit more probably, and we needed a little faster big back. We had Dominique, but we needed that, and so we went immediately there, and I thought he did a nice job. He's still struggling a little bit in pass protection. I'm not talking about the physicality of it, but understanding protections. But man, how valuable spring ball is for those kids. I think we found a really fine player there.
Tom?
Hey, Sam, a couple of your standouts looked to me had big scrimmages. Talking about Traylon Smith ran well, and it looks like Burke showed up too. If you could talk about those two guys.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how guys that's played before usually play pretty good, in the spring. Burks is a talented kid. Everybody knows that. But he went out and got one in the end zone. I'm not positive. I don't have the stats. I'm not positive about what all he did, but I know he's a good football player. And then Smitty, he got one gear, and that's full throttle. And that's what makes him a good football player. He's a physical kid, not big, but he plays much more physical, much heavier than what he is. And those guys done a nice job of leading and trying to teach younger guys behind them in their position. They're good leaders on our football team as well.
Okay, and I also wanted to ask you about first team defense impressions there, and I think you ended up with 6 or 7 sacks.
Yeah, in the spring, a lot of times, when the quarterback doesn't have an opportunity to get away from a touch, there was at least 5 of them where there's no way he got out of there, But a lot of times, I thought, at least early today, and I'll have to watch the tape, but I thought at least early, the sacks that we were taking at quarterback was the quarterback's fault. I thought that we could get rid of the ball. We can get it. We were out of the pocket on a couple of them that we can just throw the ball, past the line of scrimmage. We're in good shape. But I think that the sacks have to do, we had a back get beat in a sack once. So I think it has to do with a lot of things, but we have to get better there. And we made emphasis on it. And we did it. We have the whole entire time, but we made a huge emphasis on it. I don't know if y'all were there at the time. No, it was indoors, but on Thursday, we just had a blitz pickup with the line, the backs, and the tight ends, and of course the defense and their safeties. But we have to get better at that. I think a lot of it's communication problems that we're trying to clean up. And I'm not for sure the other part of your conversation question.
It's how the first unit on defense looked, maybe.
And I thought they started out slow, and then they picked it up. We're doing a few things different than what we did last year. We have to have the D line to continue to come on. I think Coach Ashley's done a really good job with those guys, but they have to continue to come on. I thought Dorian Gerald had a good day today, and but we've got to find some big guys that can continue to help us, like Eric and Carter's and those guys. We have to get heavier and thicker in there and better in the D line. But overall, I think they came back. I think in the red area, they blew a coverage and the offense scored on them, and then first and 10 from the 4, the offense was able to run the ball in two snaps on the ones. And honestly, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see if we could stop them, or I did not want Kendall to throw the football down there. I want to see if we can stop the run. Can we run the football? So they got beat in some situations, even though on third down and various distance, I think the ones defense was 2 for 6, 2 out of 8 in that position. So again, when I first started there was some good and bad. I think on both sides, it wasn't a scrimmage that was dominated by one side. And to be honest with you, as a head coach, that's a scrimmage you like.
Otis.
I hear you a little bit, Otis, but
Otis, you're muted.
I'm not a rookie with this. I can act like it. Jaden Johnson, 2 young guys, Coach. I know you had to watch film, but Jaden Johnson, Chris Paul, they made some plays out there today. Not only today, but how have they looked through the time?
I like both of them a lot. Johnson's running with the 2s, big, thick, heavy, smart guy that it's important to him. And then Pooh, when Pooh came in, when he came in, he was out of shape, and I didn't know if he could run. I mean, you couldn't figure it out in the off season until about the last 2 weeks. But he's thick now. He's a heavy, thick, smart. I think he's going to be a really good player in the future if he continues to work. But I like those, to answer your question. I like both those kids. I think we got really good players there.
Thanks, Coach.
Dudley.
Obviously spring practice used to be a normal thing. Last year, y'all didn't get to have it. Is there a sheer joy to just being out there, being able to practice and develop this year?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. What we had to talk about a lot, Dudley, in our staff meeting was we haven't had any of these spring practice, any spring scrimmage. It was new for all of us. And so we were very meticulous in the way that we went about it, and trying to go with a fine-tuned comb. We knew we was going to have people in the stands. We didn't want to look all, unorganized out there. We knew we had anywhere from the 1s to the 4s playing, and anywhere from 1s to the 4s on punting and kicking. And to me, that's what spring's for. It's for finding out about the guys you don't know about. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm very, very, we all are very honored that we had that many people come out and interested in Arkansas football.
Hutch?
Yeah, Sam, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but the third down segment, the defense kind of dominated that portion of the scrimmage. Has that kind of been a theme throughout the spring so far, or is that something the offense, one of those points of emphasis moving forward, third downs?
Well, Hutch, it's not just the offense. Our defense wasn't very good on third down last year either. So we've made a big emphasis on third down. We're trying to do a little bit different on offense. We're trying to help ourselves a little bit more with some protections. And on defense, we're trying to, be able to play man coverage, and which we didn't try a lot last year. It was, drop 8 and pray that we get home, or pray that we can cover them, and we have to move the quarterback. Everybody knows that. And the only way you can do that is get somebody back there around him. So, but we found, we knew during the season as well, but third down was our nemesis a little bit of getting off the field and staying on the field. So today I felt like the defense won that without really any question. And certainly that'll give our offense, we'll have to continue to work there as well.
And seemed like y'all did a lot of special teams today. Is that going to be a staple of y'all's spring scrimmages, or is that something you decided after watching last season you need maybe some focus on that?
Well, twofold. Obviously we have to get better on special teams, and a lot of that has to do, honestly, with your kickers and your returners. And we've got to find a punt returner. We have to, and we have to find somebody that they're scared to kick off to, and that's part of it. But if we scrimmaged last year, it would have been the identical format that we had today. We've got to find elite guys that can return, and we've got to get kickoff guys we trust that won't kick it out of bounds, and we have to get punters that we trust that will punt it with length, height, and in the right area, right field zone. And that's why we did it. We're trying to make them compete.
All right, let me know if you've got more questions in the chat and raise your hand. Trey?
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if there's anybody that's maybe even it's unexpected, but just surging ahead. I mean, you've got 20 guys that started the last game back from last year. Is there anybody that you're like, this guy is really coming at this particular position?
That's a really good question. Hayden Henry, he didn't play today. We're trying to hold him out. He's had some shoulder problems in the past, and one of the, I don't know if you call it a deal I made, but I wanted him to come back because I think he's a good football player. And one of the things was that we'd let him get his shoulders strong. He's really had a good offseason. Our linebackers as a whole are improving big time. But as far as guys sticking out, I think Soley's having a better camp. Obviously, Zach Williams having a better camp on the offensive line. Tykeus Crawford, he didn't participate today, but he's a guy that we're really pleased with what he's done so far. I think the young kids with Henderson and St. John's, they're coming on. I think they're going to be good players for us. And we talked about Rocket at running back. I think he's going to help us. And then at the wideout, we're really pleased with both Jaden and Keytron. I think they're going to be good players. Keytron's knee's probably not quite healed up yet, but he's probably about 90% right now. But on defense, we talked about Johnson and Pooh, and we just, again, we're looking for, we need some help on the D line. So we've got to go out and find somebody there as well. They're playing well, but we need some more depth.
I was curious also about Trey Knox. You weren't here in 19, but it feels like he kind of slipped off in his production from 19 to 20. What do you see out of him that he needs to improve on, and how has his camp or his spring been so far?
Well, I think he's working really hard, and he knew, and he got to be a better route runner. He's got to be able to, on his breaks, get off of coverage, especially man coverage, because that's what this league does. He's got to be consistent with his catching, but he's working at it. I don't know, Trey, to be honest with you, that he didn't play as well last year as he had before. But then you look at Tyson Morris, did he start playing better? I know Davion Warren played better than he had before. So, you got Burks, and then you got Woods, and then, Knox, and then Morris, and Jaquaden Crawford wasn't able to play today as well. But, there's a lot of pretty talented guys at wide receiver. So you kind of got to be on your A game. But I think Trey's improved. And if he'll continue to catch the ball consistently and do get the separation at the top of his route, I think it'll really help him.
Thanks, Coach.
Tom?
Yeah, Sam, what do you want to see out of Tuesday and then heading into spring break?
Yeah, Tuesday, we're going to get after it again on Tuesday. We're going to try to correct the mistakes that we made in this scrimmage. But Tuesday will be physical. We still have we have to continue to run the ball better. That's the bottom line. Good teams, they run the ball when they want to run the ball. I mean, that's what it is. And the good teams stop the run when they want to stop the run. And they take half the game away from people. And that's been a big concentration for us. You guys have been out there, and we're running a 2-spot, and we're running like it's a physical practice every day. It will be again on Tuesday. There won't be a whole lot of tapering off this spring, but on Tuesday, I just want to get what we had corrected and play better fundamentals and be physical. And if we can do that, we would have had a great 7 days. I know today wasn't a great scrimmage. I don't know how you view them. I wish we wouldn't have jumped off sides on defense and stayed on sides on offense. And I don't like it when our team talks to each other. I don't like it. So I told them after the scrimmage, if we can just not beat ourselves and make somebody beat us, I think that'll be hard to do if we continue to improve.
Hutch?
Yeah, Coach, a couple of guys that we didn't see play today, Jalen Catalon, Isaiah Nichols. Could you provide an update on those guys and maybe anybody else?
Well, they're both hurt. I mean, they both got small injuries, and so they'll be back. Cat will be back Tuesday, and then I don't know how long that Nichols will be out. I probably won't play him Tuesday and see if we can't get this discretionary week that can get him back to full health. Just got a nagging foot deal.
Nate, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Okay, everybody, we good? Oh,
Yeah, no, just as far as it was the physicality and the offensive defensive line and all what you wanted today.
I think so. To be honest with you, and again, I haven't seen it, but at least on the field, it looked like we ran the ball pretty well with the ones on offense. I don't know that, but it felt that way. I know that the defense stepped up and had a nice 3rd and 2 stop on the offensive line, offensive. But I felt like we ran the ball a little bit better than what I even expected that we might. Our defensive line is a work in progress. We got a heck of a coach coaching them, and Coach Ashley, and I think they're going to get better. But they worked their butt off, so I anticipate them getting much better. They had several sacks. We just got to be better at stopping the run in there, and we've got to get help with on the edge coming up a little bit faster to turn the ball back into our linebackers.
Thanks.
All right, I'll wrap us up. Thanks, Coach.
Have a great weekend.